Hi, I'm Dara, and this is A Right Way. And I want to share some thoughts about what I would do if I was just at the very beginning of my screenwriting career. The first thing I would do is just enjoy the process of writing that first script. Have fun. Don't obsess about what the end result is going to be. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. The next thing I would do is, as soon as I finish that first script, I would get started on another script and really ask myself the tough question, especially after you're, say, for example, got 3 scripts under your belt, which should be your goal out the gate. Do you actually like this process? Is this something you enjoy? Is this something you could really see yourself doing? These are the deeper questions you need to ask yourself before getting off into the weeds on, I hope that this gets made into a major motion picture starring XYZ A-list star. Before you get off into that, do you even like creative writing? Is this something you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life? Or was it just an itch you wanted to scratch and get it out of your system and now you're ready to move on to some other creative outlet? Whatever your answer is, that's perfectly fine, but just be honest with yourself. And if it's something you really love and enjoy, then the next thing you need to ask yourself is, where do you see yourself fitting in this very big and vast thing that we call film, television, new media, internet, all of this stuff? Where do you fit? If you could wave a magic wand over your life, would you be a staff writer on a popular TV show? Would you be someone who directs and produces your own films? Would you be someone who is a consultant that provides advice, like production assistant and that kind of support on set to make sure that the story is authentic? Where do you see yourself, and what would you be most passionate about? And then I would search and find what I would call a career twin. So find a person who has succeeded in the industry in the way that you aspire to. And ideally, you will want to find 2 or 3 of these twins, but just start with one and research their journey and how they got from, where they started at the very beginning to where they are. And remember that cliche about an overnight success story being years in the making. Well, I can attest to that personally because, out here in Hollywood, most people are truly at it for, a long, long time before they get that, notoriety that makes them quote unquote famous. So you have to be patient with the process. But do the deep research. See if you can find interviews of them on podcasts talking about the different steps of their journey and how they got to where they are. And also listen to their own advice and feedback about what were the milestones in their career and the landmines that they tried to avoid and the advice that they would share. And remember that even if you find a few people that mirror the career that you espouse to, this industry is changing fast all the time, and you're your own unique person. So obviously you can't copy and paste exactly what somebody else did, but it could provide you with the framework to get rolling. So I would encourage you to do those things and then carve out a career path that is organic and authentic to you and what your vision is, as opposed to, even though I did use the advice of finding the quote unquote twin, still bring it back down to your own personal passions, because that's really gonna fuel you on the day-to-day up and down situation that this crazy ride is. And it can be a lot of fun, and also it can have some disappointments. That's the honest to goodness truth. So you have to be in it for the long haul. I hate to use another cliche, but it certainly is a marathon and not a sprint. And you have to be patient with the process. And remember that consistency is the key. So whenever I finish a script, I'm already thinking about what the next one is going to be. You always have to keep going with that next thing, almost like a musician. They finish one album and they're already thinking about the next songs that they want to record. Keep that creative fuel, like keep it going. That's really what's going to propel you and take you along the way. So I hope this was helpful, and no matter what, keep on writing.